What's up, DC Nation? Welcome back to another video. And guys, like the video, give a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe because all this great DC Comics content every day that you don't want to miss. Now guys, new information has came out from Dark Knight's Death Metal. It's pretty much through like Scott Snyder's Twitter account. Like I was going through, I was like, okay, I'll check the Twitter account, see if he has some new stuff aboard. Because no other sites have reported stuff. But then I check his thing and all these posts, there's like new posts that show big things to come. Like, yeah, we saw a thing that, oh, Wally's coming, alright? Because Scott Snyder put out, like, a thing on his Twitter. It was an image of Wally, Wonder Woman, and Swamp Thing. Wally West, cool, he's coming to the series. But that was really just confirmed. And then we saw the preview images, we saw these 3 Batmans, we saw the one, the Rogue figure, we saw, like, the one that kind of looked like Azrael, he's, like, in a red costume. And then the Dinosaur Batman, which I'm really excited to see that. And then we also saw Wonder Woman, the Invisible Jet, Swamp Thing, Super Skinny, and then we saw the Joker Dragons return, we saw the Evil Robins, but that's really what we see. And this whole storyline is based off of pretty much the Battle Laughs and Perpetua teaming up and taking over. It's going to darkness. Batman, Superman, they've been changed. Superman has like a new freaking arm, Bizarro arm, long hair. There's actually like a new image right here that Scott Snyder actually tweeted. And guys, this looks cool. It's not colored, but I'm excited to see what Superman, what his role is, and what cool images we could get by Greg Capullo. And guys, Batman, he's pretty much like Death. He's like riding on like a motorcycle. That's pretty legit. He's also got like a monster truck in issue number 2, so I'm excited to see that. But guys, big thing is we found out on Scott Snyder's Twitter account, 1, issue number 2 is gonna end on a bang. Like there's some big information there, and then there's also another one-shot that's separate from the series that Tobias Daniel will be drawing, and I think either James Tynion or Scott Snyder will be writing. But guys, let's dive in. First off, let's talk about the big news. Dr. Manhattan is coming to Dark Knight's Death Metal. That's crazy, because honestly, I thought Doomsday Clock was not canon at all. Because when you read it, like, it was a great storyline, yeah, but it got delayed so much, and we had Heroes in Crisis, all these different storylines that were pretty much like counterproductive. Like it went against what the Doomsday Clock was trying to sell. Like we saw in Doomsday Clock, like the cities were against Batman, the Superman theory, but that's never came up in DC Universe other than Doomsday Clock. So we saw all this stuff happen, but it only happened in there, and the metaverse hasn't even really been referenced outside of Doomsday Clock. But it looks like Scott Snyder will be using it to great effect here, having Dr. Manhattan team up with Apex Lex. Like somehow Lex Luthor is gonna become Apex Lex again, because like he got his powers like stripped away from him in Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen number 4, when like Perpetua went against him with the Battle Who Laughs, and he was sent like naked back to Earth. But guys, he's pretty much Apex Lex again. We see it here in this image. Looks really dope. It's not colored. It's actually not even really penned either. It's very like early on, but still we see Apex Lex. We see Dr. Manhattan, and that's just, guys, that's crazy. Because Doomsday Clock was a great series. I love that series. It was delayed a lot, yeah, but the art was good there. Like, Gary Frank killed it. Jeff Johns did such a great job. He brought a lot of stuff together, introducing the metaverse. Dr. Manhattan versus Superman. Like, it was one of my favorite series. And when it ended, I was like, okay, on one hand, I'm like, okay, awesome. I don't have to wait on issues anymore. But on the other hand, I'm like, oh, that sucks. One of my favorite series are done. And we're probably not going to see anything else of it because DC's moving like a very weird direction with everything being like separate from each other. The whole like DC continuity is very convoluted and a mess. So it's very like cool that we find out that actually Dr. Manhattan isn't Scott Snyder's Dark Knight's Death Metal, because it brings kind of some connection. Because I feel like everything's a mess right now, and to see this really reassures me. It's like, okay, maybe DC has a plan for stuff, or at least Scott Snyder does. Like, I can count on Scott Snyder to tell a great story, bringing all this awesome stuff. Like, Dark Knight's Metal was a crazy story. I feel like Dark Knight's Death Metal will be even better, because you have Dr. Manhattan, Batman Who Laughs, Perpetua, and you have all this big stuff happening. Jonah Hex, which I'll get to that soon. But it's so much stuff going on, and the series comes out in like over a month now. So there will be more news to come. Like, we got preview images on Sunday, and now we get this yesterday. So they're just rolling out the information to get us hyped, which I'm really happy about. Now guys, in this we also see like the Titans in the back. So we see Apex Lex right here, and then Dr. Manhattan, and then we got the Titans in the back. And guys, the Titans, they're from Justice League No Justice at the Source Wall. And that was pretty much like Jack Kirby's creations. You see Jack Kirby, he went to the New Gods, the Source Wall, all that cosmic stuff, and it was amazing. So seeing this get involved, it's gonna be a very cosmic heavy storyline. Like yeah, you have Death Metal, you have all this like Batman Who Laughs Perpetua, that's already cosmic enough. But now you're having the Titans come to play and Dr. Manhattan, like that's gonna be crazy. Like I don't think Perpetua stands a chance. Like what if the way they beat Perpetua is just Dr. Manhattan just erases her? Like I can see that. Like it'd be really awesome and it really raises the stakes. Bring Dr. Manhattan in this storyline is like the best choice they could ever do. And guys, I feel like that image of Dr. Manhattan, Apex Lex, and the Titans will be like the final image on issue number 2. Because Scott Snyder tweeted and it says like everything matters. Well, everything matters, and it's like by Wonder Woman, she's saying that, and it's like final page, issue number 2. So that tells us it's gonna end on a big bang. Issue number 1's probably gonna end with Wally West showing up or something else, which I'll get to a theory of mine soon. But Wally West will be, I think he's gonna be in issue number 2 or issue number 1. He may show up at the end of issue number 1, but most likely in issue number 2. So we're gonna have Wally West, Dr. Manhattan, Apex Lex, the Titans, and Batman Who Laughs Perpetua, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, all in one issue. I'm excited. Like that sounds dope. And guys, another thing that got released was pretty much a cover that was not really penned or anything. It's just penciled, but by Tony S. Daniel. And guys, this cover is for the upcoming like one shot. It's like an interlude like tie-in. So like we have those evil Batman tie-ins, we have Batman Lost, Hawkman Found, so we're getting more than Dark Knight's Metal. But for Dark Knight's Death Metal, we're getting this one tie-in called pretty much Death Metal, The Legends of the Dark Knight special. And it's to be drawn by Tony S. Daniel, written by probably James Tynion, and it shows on the cover right here, Batman Who Laughs. Bottom left corner, you see like the monster truck, like the Bat monster truck, which is so cool. You see bottom right corner, you see Two-Face, I think that's Two-Face, Man-Bat, and then you also see in like the top left corner, you see the Dinosaur Batman, which I'm excited to see what that's going to be about. Because at first I was like, okay, this is kind of weird, but now I'm like, oh, okay. I see what you're doing, Scott Snyder. It's very crazy, but very intriguing too. And then we see like the robed Batman, that's what I'm going to call him. Like he has like a robe type suit. But we don't see the red suit Batman, the one from like the preview images. He's probably in this series, but in the one shot, but just not on the cover. And then we see in the background like the flying Joker dragon. So it's a crazy cover, and it gets me excited for that one shot. Because it's probably going to be more Batman stories. It's not going to be evil Batman though. I'm guessing it's going to be like hero Batmans, like different Batmans throughout the multiverse that are trying to fight off the Batman Who Laughs. Like that would be really interesting. But guys, this news with Dr. Manhattan, the Legends of the Dark Knight, it's just so awesome. It was so early on, guys. There's still like over a month before the series comes out, so there's going to be more news coming out, and I'm going to keep reporting to you guys because I just want to hype you guys up because I'm so hyped. But also, guys, a couple other things is Scott Snyder answers some questions. We saw, not the cover, like we know like the cover of Dark Knight's Metal is of issue number 1, but we saw pretty much like the font they're using in the title right here, and that looks really cool. And then we also saw like that Superman image, which is just penciled. And then we also found out that Jonah Hex will be in the story. Because somebody asked, hey, are you do Jonah Hex stories ever? And Scott Snyder is like, well, he's going to be in Death Metal, and I love writing the character. So I'm excited to see what Scott Snyder does with him. And then another thing that's kind of separate from Death Metal is they asked him like, oh, will you ever do like a Nightwing story? And Scott Snyder's like, yeah, I'll do a Nightwing story eventually when I get to. Like I'm doing Death Metal, I'm doing all these different stories. Like Scott Snyder has all these stories planned. He's not just like, okay, I got Death Metal, that's awesome, that's it. No, he's like, I got this, I got that. I'm ready for everything. Like I got the great stories in store for the fans. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all the information. A lot of stuff to go over. But with all that out of the way, let me get to my theory, alright? So in my last video, I talked about like that cloaked figure that we saw in like the preview images right here. And I thought it was Wally West. But I don't think that anymore. Because honestly, I think Wally West will actually show up in issue number 2. He'll be a big role in that. For issue number 1, that cloaked figure will probably be like revealed who that is by the end of the issue on like the final page. And it'd make a lot of sense if it's actually Death of the Endless. One of the Endless, because one thing in Dark Knight's Metal, the first issue ended with like Dreamer of the Endless showing up. So what's a better way to have Death of the Endless show up in Dark Knight's Death Metal? Like that just makes so much sense. Hey guys, I'm not going to take all the credit for this theory because one of you guys in the last video in the comment section below tell me, hey, what if it's Death of the Endless? Like that makes a lot of sense. I'm like, I never thought about that. Like, in my last video, I was like, hey, make me dream or make me want the endless. But I point out that it would be death. And now thinking about it makes so much sense. It'd be a big way to close out the first issue. It'd be really awesome. Because one, so you got Dr. Manhattan, right? But then you got Death, you got Perpetua, all these powerful characters. So it's gonna be a big series, guys. One of the biggest series in DC history, probably. I'm guessing, like, who knows? They may bring in the Anti-Monitor. There's so much stuff going on, and it's a 6-issue series. And yeah, you may think, hey, is Scott Snyder bringing too much into this series? I don't think so. Because that's what I thought about Dark Knight's Death Metal when they were talking about it before the series came out. But then the series came out, and yeah, in the middle, I was like, okay, this is a little crowded. But by the end of it and rereading the series, I was like, okay, this flows very well. None of the parts am I like, okay, the story's kind of, these characters aren't getting the right treatment they are. No, Scott Snyder treats it all well, and he has the flow of the story go very well, and it's just an awesome series. So I'm guessing that Dark Knight's Death Metal with all these characters, all of them will be treated well, and the series will just flow really good. In the comment section below, tell me what you guys thought about this video, what you guys thought about all this information, Dr. Manhattan, we got the Titan, Apex Lex, the Legends of the Dark Knight. What do you think about Tonius Daniel? I think he's an awesome artist. I'm excited to see how he draws Batman last. What do you think about him drawing this like one shot? And guys, who do you think that cloaked figure is? I'm asking again, just like last video. I don't think it's Death now, like it makes a lot of sense, but if you guys have any other theories, tell me in the comment section below. I really appreciate it. And yeah, guys, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up, and hell yeah, bro, subscribe to the channel. It's all these great T-Counts content every day that you don't want to miss. And yeah, guys, that's the video. Peace out.